So, I mean, I'm sure most of us probably saw the Avengers Doomsday chair announcements, and when we were all kind of watching it, I think we all simultaneously wondered, well, where is Tom Holland's Spider-Man? What is going on with Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Because all the leaks that we've heard over the last couple years to do with the movie is that this film would take place on Battleworld and would take place after Doomsday and would kind of act as like a in-between sequel of, Doomsday and Secret Wars. So a lot of us really didn't want to see that. Again, I'm still very cautious on where they're going to go with this movie, but I still think it should be a street level film predominantly with some, I guess, multiversal aspects of it just to fit in with the multiversal saga. But at the end of the day, for anyone who didn't want it to be a multiversal movie, it looks like we might actually be getting a street level film, with it being reported that Spider-Man 4 actually takes place during the events of Avengers Doomsday. According to insider Jeff Snyder, Spider-Man 4 will reportedly take place during the events of Avengers Doomsday. This will explain Tom Holland's disappearance from the upcoming Avengers sequel. Again, how I think they might actually go about this is maybe at the end of Doomsday, we get a post-credit scene that maybe, says like 2 weeks ago, and it has Tom Holland's Spider-Man, just doing a simple thing, maybe fighting some type of crime or something like that, which of course hints to the Spider-Man 4 movie. And then we get Spider-Man 4, and it's taking place like a week before Doomsday, towards the end of Doomsday, and we kind of get what Spider-Man is doing during that Doomsday film. Again, I think that would be a really cool idea, and this means that we get to have it be a straight level film, and then of course by the end of it, maybe he gets thrown into the battle world type of thing in like an end credit scene or something like that, setting up what Spider-Man's, what Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be doing in Avengers Secret Wars. Again, what's actually really cool about this is not only did Jeff Snyder reveal that this Spider-Man 4 movie will be taking place at like the same time, meaning it will probably be a more grounded type of street level film, but he also reported that the Chameleon will be the main villain of Spider-Man 4. According to the Snyder, of course, Jeff Snyder, the Chameleon will reportedly be the main villain in Spider-Man 4. However, he is not expected to be called Chameleon in the movie because he recently appeared in Kraven the Hunter. Now, I am really, really shocked about this because I think a lot of people forget that Chameleon was already kind of teased in the MCU in Spider-Man Far From Home, when the guy who drove the bus name was, of course, the name of what Chameleon is actually in the comics. So everyone kind of thought that that was going to be the Chameleon. I guess they might be retconning it now to say that it's not going to be the Chameleon. Again, I think this character not being called the Chameleon is a weird, very, very weird thing. I mean, I don't know if it's because of the contract they have with Sony and that rumor of if Sony use a villain that Marvel can't reuse them or something. I don't know if that rumor is true. It is a load of bullshit, and I really hope it's not. Again, considering we got a week or two ago reports by great insiders that the villain of this movie will be a 30 to 50 year old woman as well, I do wonder, does this mean Chameleon might be getting a gender swap, and maybe he's going to be played by a 30 to 50 year old woman? Or are there going to be multiple main villains in this film? Because realistically, I still think Silver Sable is not enough to be a main villain of a movie, and that's who they're probably talking about in a 30 to 50 year old woman type of scenario. But I also believe that Chameleon is probably not a big enough villain for them to market these two characters as a main villain. So they could realistically just be like, we're combining them now, and they have both of them as the main villains. Maybe, of course, Silver Sable and Chameleon are both the main villains of the film. Again, you could have a big name actor playing both. It is being said that a big name actor was originally offered the role of whoever the main villain is of this movie. So I don't know if they're going to go back with the actor that they originally had in Far From Home. Probably not. They're probably just going to get a new character. And I mean, I think it's really interesting because Peter Parker throughout this movie is going to be having an identity crisis, and he's going to be fighting with what his identity actually looks like. Is he Spider-Man or is he Peter Parker? You know, he is going to struggle with that the whole movie, especially considering no one remembers him as Peter Parker anymore. So as we've seen, it's probably going to be the opposite of the second movie where he quits being Spider-Man to be Peter Parker. This one, he's probably going to quit being Peter Parker to be Spider-Man. And what's really interesting about that is that Chameleon is all about different identities. Tom Holland's Peter Parker is going to have a massive identity problem throughout like the whole entire film, while Chameleon is literally an identity shift shaper. Like, that is legitimately where they could have, you know, Ned or Zendaya appear in this film. Like, imagine Chameleon twisting and playing with Spider-Man's mind of him shape-shifting into Zendaya's MJ, shape-shifting into, you know, Ned. Of course, I think usually the Chameleon can only change his face in some adaptations, but in the Spider-Man game, I think he, when you go and try and find him, he at one stage is a woman, he one stage changes completely who he is. Again, I know it's a bit far-fetched for him to grow pretty tall and, you know, tan and look like Zendaya and maybe put on 200 pounds to look like freaking Ned, but shit. I mean, it's pretty cool if he does, and that would really mess with Spider-Man and Peter Parker's mind. So I think that's how that story could be going. And of course, maybe Silver Sable, if the rumors are true that it is her in the film, you know, she will be a massive task force that will really try and put Spider-Man in his place, just like it happened in the game as well. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to play out with Chameleon and Silver Sable potentially here. Is Black Cat finally going to appear in a film? I still don't know. Probably not at this point because they just refuse to do it for some reason. But again, having, you know, this movie take place during Doomsday is really great. Again, we know that Tom Holland is reportedly contracted for 6 new Marvel movies. It was being said it will be the 3 Spider-Man movies, the 2 Avengers movies, and of course, a secret one, which I still think could maybe be the new Fantastic Four. He could maybe be in an end credit scene for that, of them showing up to Earth now and Spider-Man's at New York and sees them. Maybe, of course, they'll be going to a different universe at this one. It'll probably be the MCU one and the MCU's Earth. Again, I don't know. I'm guessing, even though we thought that Spider-Man was contracted for the 2 Avengers movies, it might just be he's contracted to do like an end credit scene at the end of Doomsday, setting up his, you know, Spider-Man 4 movie, of that movie actually taking place at the exact same time that Doomsday is happening, meaning that it can probably still be a straight level film, and then at the end of the film it becomes a multiversal one in like the last 5 minutes, where he's jumping to the Doctor Doom created battle world. So that could be how they're, of course, going about this and how they're going to do this. Again, I think it's a really interesting idea, and Chameleon, to me, is not a villain I thought that they were going to go with. So having that and him maybe turning into like Zendaya to mess with Tom Holland's mind is actually a crazy thing that, if that does happen in the movie, ladies and gentlemen, please come back to this video and just say, God damn, this chubby fat kid who's wearing a Dustin Poirier shirt was absolutely right about where the plot of this is maybe going. Again, this could all completely change. We have heard a ton of different plot leaks because apparently they've just been working on this script for so long. It's gone through, you know, different written versions of it, and I think they've just settled down on the one that they want over the last couple months. So this could be the official version of how the script is going to turn out. Again, I would very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Are you guys excited for the new Spider-Man movie, and do you guys think Chameleon will be the main villain, or are they going to go with Silver Sable, or maybe both? Again, I'd very much like to know your thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to my, sports channel, which will be getting linked in the description down below. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.